of us today have not watched porn at some point in our lives? Pornography is ubiquitous in the digital age. Its widespread availability and accessibility on the web is simply a given. That's why parents install internet filters. Women can't help but monitor the surfing of their male partners, and sex therapists see it as a legitimate tool to spice up the sex lives of couples. Indeed, not only has the suffix of .XXX been available for purchase and use alongside .gov and .com since 2011, but what was once a prominent site of the feminist sex wars has given way, not for some to call for the eradication of pornography because of the misogynistic portrayal of women, but for some to offer advice on what not to learn from pornography. In other words, although it is generally accepted that porn is fantasy, and more often than not a male-centric one, and if you are learning how to have sex from porn, you may be getting misinformation, especially when it comes to pleasing a woman, it is simply a given that watching porn is normal behavior. That's why Petra Zebrov, a sex therapist from Vancouver, has posted a list of 7 pointers on how to satisfy a woman for men who watch porn, so they will not be misled into thinking that pornography portrays women's sexual desires with any kind of accuracy. Watching porn, however, is regarded differently in our society than doing porn. In April 2011, a secretary in a Quebec high school was fired for moonlighting as a porn actress. It did not matter that she was not in a position to influence young minds. She was, after all, not a teacher. Or that she was very discreet in her day job and never advertised her other career. It was discovered by a male student in the school who saw one of her videos online. Or that she had a young daughter to support and, like many single parents struggling to make ends meet, held down 2 jobs. The Quebec School Board still dismissed her. And although school board officials acknowledged that she was not engaged in any illegal activity, that is why there was a settlement after she was fired, they still could not accept that a porn worker was in their midst. This week's module on pornography invites a wide array of questions about watching and doing porn. Pornography in Western societies like Canada and the United States is indeed not illegal. There are strict laws against child pornography. In Canada, it is a criminal offense to make, print, publish, import, distribute, sell, or simply possess child pornography. The law was strengthened further in 2005 to remove claims of artistic merit and include written material and audio formats, so not just pictures, videos, or visual portrayals, where the dominant characteristic is a description for a sexual purpose of sexual activity involving a person under 18 years of age. These materials do not have to be explicitly pornographic. They can merely be implied. Critics have feared that the law is tantamount to censorship, including self-censorship for fear of being prosecuted, such as a 2006 decision by a small Saskatoon-based magazine not to publish an image of a popular Victorian-era painting, Sir John Everett Millais' 1879 Cherry Ripe, because of widespread covert pedophilia in Victorian society. Thus, even if the painting itself is seemingly of just a young girl, her look can be read as sexual coquettishness because of the very period of when it was painted. However, there are no laws against adult pornography in Western societies like Canada and the United States. Why is this the case? Is it because the West has become accepting of the porn industry? How then do we explain the firing of the high school secretary who moonlighted as a porn actress? Is it because the West has become accepting of sexuality? How then do we explain the ongoing culture wars where the site of contention is control of sexual behavior, specifically of women and sexual minorities? Last week, we discussed how rape has been redefined by conservative anti-abortion advocates to curtail women's reproductive rights. Moreover, pornography has been a principal site of the feminist sex wars, and it is in this context that we will explore this topic. What is the foundation of the radical feminist argument against pornography? Why has this argument lost credence, even amongst feminists? And to what extent are arguments grounded in today's anti-porn feminism compelling? What differentiates today's anti-porn feminists from radical feminists? Why, in the end, should feminists think more about empowering porn workers? What can be said about the growth of amateur porn on the web? Is this empowering? These are the kinds of questions that we will be discussing in this module. I've asked you to read only one article because it is a fairly long, sophisticated, and recent discussion of anti-porn feminism by A.W. Eaton. Although I suggest that you do the recommended readings for this module by Laurie Schrage and the specific pages in chapters 8 and 9 of your Nussbaum text, I understand that the Eaton article is demanding reading, but I will pull ideas from all three scholars in my framing lecture. I have 4 primary goals in this module. First, I want to highlight the differences between pornography, erotica, and obscenity. There are laws against obscenity, not pornography. Second, I want to bring out why objectification is a significant component of the radical feminist argument against pornography. Third, I want to discuss the harm hypothesis, which is central to the anti-porn feminist position put forward by A.W. Eaton. Fourth, I want to talk about the empowerment of porn workers and whether the rise of amateur porn on the web is evidence of empowerment. We will not be dealing with child pornography, only adult pornography in this module, because issues of exploitation are more clear-cut in the case of children. This is not so with women. The feminist sex wars were triggered by debates on whether sex work in the pornography and prostitution industries, and we will be focusing on prostitution next week, is inherently about the exploitation of women or the realization of their sexual freedoms. I can imagine that many of you have lots to say about porn this week, and I look forward to class discussion.